decision.
Yeah, we do.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Policy Procedure Committee, February 1st, 2018, 9 a.m. Call the roll, please.
Bills. Stignut.
Present.
Barron.
Here.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Stignut, second. Mr. Gross. Any questions about the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and motion passes. Public comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to the committee chair report. Start with Russell.
Well, Highway Department is going to be, right now, we took bids yesterday for most motor fuel tax jobs at a couple bridges in the county, and looks like it went fairly smooth, and I think we'll be able to award maybe a couple $1 million in work next week, so that's what we're looking forward to. Other than that, we just got the normal, a couple petitions where some bridges need to be replaced eventually in the county, and that's about it, if I remember correctly.
Good news. Well,
management, we're gonna do fertilizer bids and farm issues. We're gonna talk about the building rooms people are gonna be in, and a bunch of other stuff. I hope we're out here by noon.
what about you, Rich?
Should just be regular reports. Hopefully we're out there by 1/4 after.
Okay, Marvin, tax?
The customary department head reports, and we may need to discuss a policy for handling dogs that we cannot move to shelters.
Okay. We'll move on to Eric and his report.
Well, over the past month, I hosted HC for Homeland Security Exercise Evaluation Program class. It was a 2-day class taught by EMA, 17th and 18th of January. I participated in a virtual functional exercise for Web EOC for the past couple of months. I told you that I've gone to trainings in Springfield for this Web EOC program that the state is going to push out so that I can comment on it, and now we have exercised it. And then, let's see, this month, because it's February already, I'm going to help train the rest of the EMA coordinators in our region. 3 of us throughout the region have been trained. Now we're going to train the rest of everybody. So that, I've been working on executing the EOC Tech Grant, getting some bids, making sure that I follow in my budget for the grant. Hosting a annual Weather Spotter seminar on the 7th of February in Crescent City at 6 p.m. It's a valuable course. I usually get something new out of it every year. Teaches people how to spot weather safely. Taught by the National Weather Service, and if you want to go, go. And I appreciate it if you pre-register with me. I have set up with Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce, giving them a presentation about businesses being prepared for disasters. I am working on communicating with Iroquois County Chamber of Commerce to do the same. Just playing phone tag with my contact there. Looking forward, got a IAMA Region 7 meeting on the 22nd of February. Might take my volunteers to the weather conference in Decatur on the 3rd of March. I'm not sure about that yet. And that is just about it. I was on vacation on Monday and Tuesday. That was nice. Questions, comments, concerns?
You said about working with the Chamber of Commerce on training of the business people regarding disasters.
Yes, sir.
What kind of reception do you get for that?
Well, this will be the first time I've done that. I'm going to the Chamber of Commerce just because that's a collection of businesses, so I can make one presentation to a lot of businesses. The idea is that the more businesses that are prepared for disaster, the quicker a community recovers. as an example, using local company present, if your facility actually gets flooded next time, the sooner you are able to recover from that, more sooner you are able to sell gators to people that might need them, or something like that. If your business is affected, but the sooner you are able to recover, the sooner you are able to replace some of these furnaces that got damaged by the same disaster, so on and so forth. So,
I think what you'll probably find is you'll end up touching base up with businesses where when a tornado is hitting and you got about 10 seconds ahead to recover, everybody knows which direction they should be going. No matter if it's in the cooler, like in Joplin in particular, more people live because they crawled into a cooler at 7-Eleven or whatever, and went bouncing around inside there. Otherwise, everything was gone around them.
you're right, and that's part of the presentation that I'll be giving about how it's important to make sure that their own employees are safe while they're working and so on and so forth.
Like right here, I guess the bathroom, but the closest thing I would run right now, they said, tornado.
Yep.
Get in a stall.
Another thing that comes to mind too is a recent disaster right here in downtown Waukesha. You know, I mean, I'm not sure that you can identify that necessarily in terms of a general thing, because every incident like that is probably specific unto itself, but nevertheless, maybe there's some things people can do to help prevent some of those things that they need to be encouraged to do or know about.
Sure. As of last night, we still don't know what the cause of that fire was, according to the state fire marshal.
But even like Russell said with tornadoes, that's a preventative thing in knowing what to do if one should happen. And I think
You're absolutely right.
in some respects with a fire situation can be looked upon the same way, that what steps can be taken to prevent them to begin with.
You're absolutely right.
A little different than a flood, because the flood, you know what? You got usually a day or two notice, over the flash flood, both crossroads, which unfortunately around here, most of our fatalities that is flood related is going to be automobile traffic related, where somebody's driving in the water.
That is historically accurate.
Additionally, if you look at all the floods in Texas, Missouri, or whatever in past years, you look at the fatalities. Now, when you look at the total number of fatalities and then you start going into the fatalities, you'll find it's traffic related.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Next thing we have is a update on the policy regarding the distribution of emails and correspondence. I've heard nothing from either Mr. Raymond or Sherry Johnson on that, so we'll move on to the next one. Reviewing and approving a job description for the deputy clerk in finance. You have in front of you a copy of that job description. Looks like this. I think it's something that's pretty straightforward. Essentially what it's doing is incorporating the duties and responsibilities that would be associated with the
I would move that we adopt
animal
this.
control as well. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any questions or comments about it? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Barron.
Yes.
Bills.
Yes.
Sticknut.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Next would be the job description for the 911 director. This is something we talked about last month. This is something you've worked on further, Eric?
I haven't continued working on it further since
last passed to all of you. If there was any feedback or additions or subtractions, I wanted to get those or to continue on.
Can you give us a summary of some of the changes from what we had before?
I'm not sure which version everybody had prior to. What I did was built from that as a start, from what I did have in the office when I initially began. I did some research on the internet, found some kind of from the four corners of the U.S. For the most part. One job description was out in Washington, one in Michigan, Washington, D.C., and Louisiana to just try to get a common denominator of what was going into a job description and compare from there. Also building a lot from my interview when I was speaking with ETSB prior to being hired, trying to collect all that and put that into this job description.
I guess my thought would be something if we can study it and review it further at our next meeting. And then maybe if there are any changes, we can bring those forward at that time. But there's nothing pressing that I know of that needs to be done immediately. So go ahead, Rusty.
What did the EST board or the 911 board, what they recommend? Is this what they recommended?
Have they reviewed this one? Or?
They have reviewed this exact version that all of you have in front of you. The only thing that they had requested that I add, which is in this, is putting the active 911, which is the text messaging for fire and EMS. Otherwise, they wanted to pass that along to PNP for your review to see if there was anything that needed to be added or changed. But so far, they are on board with what's there.
They'd like to see the action come out of their committee to make a recommendation to us.
I know the first version they had talked about, but I wasn't sure if they had looked at this one. So
This was the version that came out in December.
one is?
Yes.
Okay, then that's essentially the same as what we looked at last month, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I know I've gone through it, but I've not gotten all the way through it.
It's a lot.
I'd like to get that done before we really bring it to a head, so.
Perfectly fine.
Okay. Next comes discussing and approving updates to the sexual harassment policy. You got a copy of that, you have a copy of that in front of you. This is something that would become a county ordinance, updating the existing one. This was prepared by Mr. Devine. I believe he said he took it from the model that was, trying to remember who put the model together.
Wasn't the Trial Lawyers Association?
I don't know. This is a statewide thing, and there was a model ordinance put together, and I think that's what he used as the guide for this, so. Mr. Devine sent copies of this to myself and to Lisa Fancher and also to Anita Speckman. I don't think anybody had any comment or objection to it. So.
What do you think, Ron? You're doing?
It's something that was prescribed by the law that the legislature passed back in November. It was supposed to have been done in January, but we didn't have this at that time to do it, so now we have it.
somebody says they're sexually harassed, is there a way that they have to prove it, or is it assumed that they are? I guess I don't see it in here specifically.
Well, I think, anytime you have an incident of that sort, it depends upon what evidence is available. But certainly the more evidence or documentation is there, is gonna make any conclusion a lot easier to arrive at.
If somebody is harassed, who do they go to?
Well, number 3 is a procedure for reporting it.
Okay.
And I believe that details it pretty clearly what you're supposed to do. It's something that, again, is maybe somewhat specific to every incident. You can have something like that occurring in any number of different directions, any number of different situations. So it's probably difficult to have a policy that's going to cover every little minute detail of it. Any type of harassment can occur between 2 or more individuals, and it could be 2 employees, or it could be an employee supervisor, it could be a supervisor employee. It can go all any number of different ways. One thing that I don't guess it does is one thing it may not cover is if a county employee is being harassed at their workplace by someone outside. In other words, an outside person comes in and conducts something like that. I don't think there's anything in here that covers that. And again, that could get, into any kind of harassment as far as that goes. But anyway, this is something we're supposed to have in effect. It was supposed to have been done last month, but wasn't ready. So we need to get it done now. My suggestion would be that we would go ahead and approve it, and if there is something that has to be an amendment or a change of some type, that's something that can always be addressed down the road.
With our liability insurance carrier.
Well, that's what this is right here in Carson.
Yeah. That's why a lot of companies are pulling out all the money. But this is what our state's attorney recommends. I would move that we put her in place.
Okay, there's a motion to approve this policy. Is there a second?
I'll second Russell's motion.
Second by Marvin. Any further questions or comments about it? I always keep it so it's there. Okay, call the roll, please.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Hills, Sticknot,
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Illinois municipal auditing law. That's something I on that in front of you? Do you have any comments on this, Anita?
Yes. Essentially what they're saying right now, townships mostly, that's the only people this is going to impact. It won't impact us. The comptroller's office is requiring all financials submitted. We have to submit our financials 6 months after the year-end date. For counties, they are GAAP compliant anyway. The comptroller's office is requiring, state law says they can either be cash or accrual method. And the state comptroller's office is saying they want it changed to where everything has to be GAAP compliant, which means that it has to be on the accrual method rather than the cash method of accounting. These little townships, that's who it's going to impact. They do cash accounting. They don't hire an accountant to close their books. Well, essentially, ours already are. That is what I do at year end, is make them GAAP compliant with all our accruals. So it doesn't impact the county at all. The only impact is going to be to townships. Now, UCCI is asking counties to pass this resolution. Maybe it's to support your townships, but in terms of our county, maybe there are some small counties down south that do cash basis. I would be surprised at that, but I don't want to answer for other counties. But for Iroquois County, it has no impact on our financials. And they talk about the expense required because you have to hire a professional accountant. Well, you've already done that when you hired me. So there is no additional cost to us. That's what you're voting on, whether or not to write this resolution to not support this resolution or this requirement by the state comptroller's office.
That's a letter on the back, the last page of what they asked us. This is something that Amanda distributed to all of the board members by email several weeks ago. A week ago, excuse me. Anybody have any thoughts on what we want to do?
So, based, if I could, maybe, based off you saying our townships will have to have a CPA?
Yes. More than likely, you'll have to hire somebody to make your financials GAAP compliant, right, at the end of the year. Some sort of professional accountant will have to do it.
I guess it sounds to me like if we were to send this in, we would be doing so in support of our townships, and it wouldn't have any impact directly on the county itself.
That's correct. I don't know if that's what the resolution says, or if you wanted to change the resolution to make that clear. I mean, the way I read this resolution, it sounds like the county, you're saying it's going to have an impact on the county. It won't. We already do that.
Yeah, I want feedback from the townships. What they think of it, and no effect on the county, because we're already doing that method.
Right.
And by changing, forcing, because if we take it, we're kind of forcing our townships inside of the county to dance, or maybe have to change their practices, and what the cost is, and why. I would want their opinion.
Don't the townships have to have their books audited anyway?
they audit them, but see, they file in cash basis. So all it means is whatever receipts that come in the year get recorded in the year, whatever expenses happen in the year get paid in the year. That's how they do it. It's much simpler. You're not doing all these year-end adjustments that I do. And then the audit is a lot easier as well, because you're just looking at transactions that occur. So it's harder to compile the financials, and then it's more expensive to audit it.
Townships don't have a lot of extra money anyway. I'm not sure we should push more expense onto them.
I guess some of the past history has been when some of the individuals representing the Democratic Party in control want to do things that cost more. Maybe this is an example of that. Sounds like it is. What do you think, Russell?
I would table the action on myself.
Okay. I don't believe there's a time limit on it other than it has to do with legislation that's being considered apparently in the spring session, so.
I don't know if I want to look at it every month to make a decision,
Well,
because it's really,
I guess to me, the thing is if it helps the townships in our county, it might be
Yeah.
something we should
and if they,
give serious thought to it.
that's why I like their opinion. I'm not going to tell them what's good for them.
No, but it may be difficult for us to contact every township in the county and get their opinion about it too.
I think some of them already are dealing with well, again, I think most of them are cash that they're having a CPA, pretty much, put the stamp on it for them, but, motion table any action.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Table it. Okay, next is the Consumer Electronics Recycling Act. This is under Russell. This is something that also was sent out to all the board members a week ago. I don't know that any of you, I guess if you've already reviewed it, that's great. But this has a deadline of March 1st, so it's something we have to make a decision on today, I guess. No? Has anybody reviewed this yet?
We made the attempt. I got notes on mine.
Well, what you have there is a copy of the whole act.
Yeah, well, this is just a copy of a,
That in and of itself can take quite a bit of time to study.
right.
And I'm not sure I can give you a very good synopsis of what it entails. That's one reason why I was asking if anybody has studied it yet that could provide some of that information.
So they basically want to know if we're going to opt in or out, is that?
Yes. You have to opt in by March 1st, according to this.
By not jumping in, we're jumping out. By not jumping in, we're jumping out.
And that's kinda what it looks like.
Who pays for this?
Yeah, sure. the People on the street will. Somebody that works for a living.
It's setting some standards, I know that's pretty apparent as to what can be collected and how it can be done and so forth.
Looks like it might be a good thing for the city of Chicago.
It also puts everything into a more organized fashion, which means more paperwork and more time consuming. I don't know enough about it to, you know, I mean, one thing we maybe can do is we can send it to the finance committee and take the time between now and then to study this. Recycling in our county has come out of the finance committee so far. But if we want to opt into it and we have a March 1st deadline, that might be the only pathway to do it, or the best pathway. That makes sense?
Send it to the finance committee.
I think we need to study more to find out who is paying for it, where the money comes from. Does it come from the county? Does it come from a tax on manufacturers? We need to figure that out.
You have something, Mr. Hasbargen?
Yes, the state passed this law for us to opt in for, and the manufacturers are paying for this. They made the manufacturers responsible for the recycling. There may be a small fee when each person comes to recycle it, but the manufacturers pay for it. There's no cost to the county.
Do you know, it says, well, for our population density, one program collection site in each county that has elected to participate. Is that have to be kept open year-round, or is it
They keep it open. We don't have nothing to do with operating it. The manufacturers keep it open, and it's their cost to keep it open for what dates they set, whatever. They have to comply to state law to do it. They can set a manufacturer like they're talking about Best Buy, having the manufacturers at bring it in to Best Buy for recycling, or a place like Walmart that sells many manufacturers' products, but they have to agree to do it. Walmart or Best Buy, because it takes some storage, of course, and some handling. They may not, so they have to do that also.
So we're talking about computers, TVs, that kind of thing. Lithium batteries, whatever.
I guess one question that would be is if this interferes in any, or changes in any way the program that we've done the past couple of years of holding a recycling event. That doesn't involve any manufacturers. I don't know, like I said, I just haven't had time to read this whole thing and study it. In fact, I just had it for a week. It's been a bit of a burden for me right now. I believe I might have time between now and the finance committee to study it. I don't know whether you would or not, Russell, but I would think that between the two of us, we might be able to, if we send it there, that we might be able to make a better presentation.
think that's what we need to do, then I'd move to send it to finance.
I mean, I wouldn't know how to vote on it right now, to be honest with you. I mean, I appreciate what Mr. Asbargen has to say and so forth, but I think it would be good if we studied it over, at least one of us thoroughly.
With a lot of this, I can see potential positive things there, because, most of this electronic junk that needs to be recycled is not really stuff that's actually sold here inside the county. It all comes from outside the county. Most of it comes in from other parts of the country because it's all bought off the internet in most cases. And so, since we get it dumped on us, and we've been funding to get rid of it through our initiative and our own program, maybe the cost should be go back more where the people that's making the money off of it, and that is the manufacturers and the retailers. But at the same time, anytime I see a piece of legislation say you got to act in 30 days and you don't have time to look at it, I say stay away from it. So
I agree, but I think we still, to do our due diligence, should study it.
yeah.
There's always a possibility it is something, whether
So this committee needs to send it to finance.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll move it. We send it to finance.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
5, 7 days.
Okay, appointments. At the moment, I don't know of any particular appointments coming forward, so.
John? I don't know whether to bring this to you guys or to tax or both. I got my certificate of education requirements for you guys. My appointment is up in May, so I'm requesting to be reappointed, hopefully. So here's my official letter of qualification from the Department of Revenue.
Okay,
So I don't have to act on it today because like I said, it's in May 15th, my appointment's up.
right, I have that, I was planning to bring that up either next month or.
Okay, that's fine. But I just want to make sure you got that certificate that
Okay.
you needed that.
All right. Okay, we can go on to correspondence. That one came from our insurance company.
Sexual harassment.
Right.
Is it?
Yep. Says they have all the tools.
I see there's a lot of insurance companies pulling out of the state of Illinois right now, so I'm not too sure what's in these.
This is from UCCI. It has the minutes of the last meeting and the schedule of meetings coming up in February. I know a lot of you guys are anxious to go to Springfield and attend those meetings, so. This one here, I think we're going to turn over to you, Russell. I'll pass it around this way first, so you get it last. I just want the committee to see that, that's all. That's Showbus. Showbus is making their annual request for money, which we haven't done.
We give them the seed money so they can get started.
Right. This one here came from the United States Department of Commerce. It said, we never completed our registration materials for Luca, therefore Luca registration has closed. All kinds of interesting. University of Illinois Extension.
I did receive a copy of this.
You did?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, actually.
Is that something you can take care of?
Yes, I actually gave it to the local post commander to fill out and look for potentials
Okay,
that would fit the requirements. Because you start looking at, there's a bunch of social events in Chicago that the average veteran I know does not want to deal with them. But anyway,
but if someone is gonna be nominated, you'll take care of filling out the paperwork and sending that
I
in?
have the paperwork, yeah.
Okay, well, you hang on to that too.
Oh, I got the same
Well, you
copy.
can hang on to that. When we turn it over to you, then we don't have any further responsibility with it. Okay, I think that takes care of the correspondence, claims. Everybody had a chance to review the claims? Got a claim sheet here someplace. Looks like we have one claim.
I move we pay it.
For a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, is there any questions, comments? If none, call the roll, please.
Barron,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Chestnut,
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Old business. New business. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, we